What's going on, social media socialites? Couche Fumble. What's going on, conscious community? What's going on, family? I'm looking a bit rough. Today is Monday, and my Mondays are kind of like my off days because I work a lot on Saturday and Sunday. So Mondays is somewhat of my off day, but I was still doing some work today. But as the title says, we're talking about Hotep hustlers and conscious crooks. My thoughts on what's going on right now in the conscious community. So there is, if you guys are watching me for the first time and you don't know who I am, my name is E.DeanCole, and I own E.DeanCole Financial. And we are a consulting firm. We specialize in working capital, alternative finance, and business credit development. That's what I do. Greetings, how are you doing? Derek is in the building. How are you doing, Derek? Now this is a video that I'm doing live. I'm doing this video live. It's just easier to do them live for some reason instead of doing them pre-recorded. And it's cool. It's cool being able to interact with people as well. So everything is good, blessings, good stuff, good stuff. So I was actually on my computer talking with clients. I did a lot of one-on-one with my clients today, and I got a notification from Saneter. Now, I was actually going to do this video yesterday, but I was not feeling well at all. I just took some time to relax and to just really replenish myself. And it's interesting because today, Saneter fired off at Red Pill. Very, very interesting. So I was like, all right, so I can't ignore it. I gotta do this. You know what I'm saying? I gotta do this video. Like I said, I was gonna do it. Then I changed my mind, but I gotta do it. Totally watching you like right now. All right, so somebody's actually just, it's so funny, somebody was texting me. Thank you so much. Whoever said that, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching me live right now. You text me in the middle of my stream. So you guys know this, like I said, I own a consulting firm. The name of this channel is Money Making Motivation. I teach about what it's like to build a business, grow a business, and anything and everything when it comes to making money and motivation. I have lectures that I teach on economic empowerment. I have a radio show, Money Making Motivation radio show that we're turning into a podcast. So that's who I am. That's me if you're watching this for the first time. Now, I did a video that went quote unquote viral 2 days ago, talking about the situation with Cynthia G and Tyreek. And I got a lot of flack from the conscious community. And I was thinking about, why the community is the way that it is. And there's a change that's happening in the community's family. There's a change that's happening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. There is a change that's happening in the community, and it's happening for the better. Now, if you're watching this right now and you're like, Dean, you're too long-winded, hurry up and get to the point. Two things. One, drink some ginkgo biloba. Build your memory and build your mind so you can get taught. So you can eat some real food instead of this McDonald's food. That's thing number one. Thing number two, I am going to put somewhat of a table of contents at the very top of this. So if you're watching this on the replay and you're not watching it live, and if you're like, well, Dean, you're talking about all this stuff, there's going to be somewhat of a quote unquote table of contents at the very top of the comments. I hate that I have to do that because I don't want my words to be taken out of context. I would like for you to hear it all the way through to its entire totality. At the same time, I do understand some people like short form format, but this isn't about just giving out content. This is about educating and empowering. Like I said, this is Money Making Motivation, which brings me to my title. And my title is, we're talking about Hotep hustlers and conscious crooks. There is a big shift that's happening right now in the conscious community, and a lot of people are hating on some very powerful, influential people in the community. And it's a shame. When I look at the conscious community, it's a lot of people that have a form of godliness, but they deny the power thereof. They have a form of godliness. They might have Ankh in their name. They might have Hotep in their name, whether they're part of RPG or whether they're part of the Amun-Ra squad or whatever the situation is, whatever affiliation you claim to have or whatever. The main goal for the conscious community is to help educate and empower African Americans to have a higher consciousness of self so they can understand that they are better and empowered. So that's my take on the conscious community. When I look at the conscious community, that is my take on it. Like, my mission and my goal is to make sure that I create as many millionaires and as many successful people as I can. Like, I know that Jehovah God has mandated that to me. So I am what you would consider a quote unquote prosperity preacher, because my job is to teach you and to empower you financially. And that's one of the biggest things missing in the conscious community. Let me talk about it a little bit more. So when I look at a lot of these comments, a lot of people are just so jealous. There's so much jealousy, envy, and strife right now going on in the conscious community. It is crazy. And I understand part of the frustration. A lot of it has to do with us as African American men. Most of the conscious community is comprised of hood men. You know, men that have been down and trying to come up. Most of the conscious community, not all of the conscious community, but most of the conscious community, ones in the forefront, it comprised of, sorry about that, I thought that my filter in my tank stopped. I was like, Lord, I hope one of the fish didn't go up in the filter. But anyway, you said it's frozen? All right, well, hopefully it unfreezes, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and get into this. Now, like I said, most of the conscious community comprised of mostly men. And unfortunately, us as men, we have battled with our identity so much so that it is uncomfortable for us to see other powerful men. Because some men haven't had their fathers around, and some men haven't had a strong example of what it's like to really be a man, what we do is we guess at what masculinity is. We guess at what a strong man is. And because of that, it has caused a lot of divisiveness in between the relationship with men and women. Like, some men think that it is simping, or you're less than because you exalt your queen. Listen, if you are a king, you have your queen. If you are a king, then you have a queen. You understand what I'm saying? So if you are a king, who do kings lay with? Kings lay with queens. But the problem is, so many men and minds have not been elevated to the point where they understand that they are a royal priesthood. They don't understand that they are gods of this earth. The reason why I say Jehovah God is because there's Jehovah God, then there's me, and I am a God. I am a God of my world. I am a God of my earth. I believe that wholeheartedly. And I'm a Christian, make no mistake about it. Somebody was asking me, what my relationship was. I am an unapologetic Christian, 10 toes down Christian. I'm gonna do a completely separate video about that. So that was the introduction. Let me get to the meat and potatoes of it all. So, Hotep hustlers and conscious crooks. People are attacking people like Red Pill, Young Pharaoh, Brother Polight, Saneter. People are attacking these brothers because they are trying to make something of themselves. They're calling them things like Hotep hustlers. They're calling them things like conscious crooks. They are guilty until proven innocent. Now, as an entrepreneur, somebody that handles customer service, this whole situation with Red Pill and Blue Pill with their clothing line is just ridiculous. People are upset and frustrated. They're calling them a crook because the supplier ran out. Do you know how foolish that is? But because in the conscious community there is such a division and there's such jealousy, envy, and strife that they're trying to find reasons to hang this man for doing absolutely nothing. So basically, let's kind of do a backdrop. Let's kind of go in order of things. So, if you're watching this right now, there are 27 people watching. I want 27 thumbs up. If you're part of the hating crew and you're hating on me, I want you to be part of the ones that give me thumbs down. So I'm gonna sip on my ginger beer. That's strong. The ginger beer is spicy. And let's get them thumbs up going. All right, there we go. I see the thumbs up jumping up. So if you're part of the haters and you're part of the hating notification squad, I need for you to give me those thumbs down right now. Go ahead and hate on me right now live. If you're part of the people that are supporting and you're supporting, go ahead and give me the thumbs up right now. Let's do it live. All right, I see some of these comments. Thumbs up, Island Boy says thumbs up. All right, that's good stuff. So we have Karushe PHA says you hit the like button. I appreciate that. Karushe says OMG, I appreciate that. All right, balance, that's good stuff. All right, so a lot of people in the building. What do I know about status correction? Brother Polight talked about. I'm going to talk about that right now, Walter. I'm going to talk about the status correction right now. I'm going to talk about that as well, talking about Brother Polight. All right, we got Gerald Wrighton is in the building. Hey, Gerald Wrighton, how are you doing? We got Brother Bilal is in the building. Peace, Dean. The title caught you because of the intriguing layers of this whole woke movement. Yes, we're going to talk about that right now, Brother Paul. I appreciate that. Good stuff. All right. God Malas, hey, how are you doing, my brother? How are you doing? All right. Diego says, what's up, Dean? Okay, good stuff. So we got, all right, cool. We got over 20 some odd likes, 20 something odd thumbs up. The rest are haters. I can appreciate that. All right, good stuff. So now let's go ahead and talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. So the title, like I said, we're talking about Hotep hustlers and conscious crooks. I went in order. I talked about Red Pill. I'm going to talk about Red Pill, talk about Young Pharaoh. I'm going to talk about Brother Polight, and I'm going to talk about Saneter in that order. So if you're looking at the description below, you're going to see different timestamps based on each individual. Now, Red Pill is somebody that I respect tremendously. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I think Red Pill is one of the strongest pillars of the conscious community. When I look at Red Pill and I look at what he's doing, what he stands for, how he articulates himself, how he stands up for himself, that is what I would consider the definition of the conscious community. Like I said, I'm working from home today. It's quote unquote an off day for me. I'm not suit and tied up like I normally am. I'm actually about to meet up with my cousin pretty soon. And I did a lot of phone consultation with clients. And in the middle of my phone consultation, I see a live stream from Saneter. Saneter goes live and he's going in on Red Pill. I think the title was The Betrayal of Red Pill or something like that. Something very divisive, something very crazy. And he starts going in and he starts going off on Red Pill. Now, I got to tell the truth about this, all right? Now, one thing about me is I speak truth to power. So I'm going to tell the truth about this. I did not hear the whole thing because, like I said, I was going in between clients and I was going in between clients and I was going in between listening to the live stream. I had a 15-minute consultation with a client, live stream. Then I had another, because the live stream was really long. Now, what I like so much about it is when I did finally get to the point where I was listening to the whole thing, I was interacting with everybody who was on the live stream. So if you saw that, if you're part of the conscious community and if you follow Saneter TV, if you saw it, I want you to write down saw it. Even if you're watching this on the replay, I want you to make a mind muscle connection. I want you to allow me to not just entertain you, but actually empower you. So you have to make a mind muscle connection. So if you saw it, I want you to say saw it. All right, so somebody just gave me a super chat. Who gave me that super chat? DJ just gave me a super chat. Thanks so much for the super chat, DJ. I appreciate that. All right, so Walter just says, do I interact? Yes, I do interact. Just be patient. I appreciate that, Island Boy. Thank you so very much. All right, if I live in the Atlanta area, can you get a real... He says that if you live in Atlanta, you can. This is, I can get some real ginger beer. Okay, so Walter, you make some real ginger beer. Okay, we could talk about that, some real ginger beer. Okay. All right, how much do I charge to clean up Credit King? All right, Rick, Lauren, Rick, I'm going to talk about that too, Rick. So ask me that question again at the bottom. We're going to talk about that as well. I'm going to talk about that when I get to the Brother Polight situation. I'm going to talk about that. So, all right, who didn't see it? All right, so Island Boy did not see it. Hello, Dean, just joining. Hello. Hey, Ray, how are you doing, my man? All right, so St. Croix is in the building. Okay. All right, so Big Kev, you said that you saw it. Big Kev saw it. Barbosa, okay, that's good stuff. All right, cool. So, Kev, you saw it. So a lot of people didn't see it because, one, it was in the middle of the day. The reason why I saw it, like I said, is because, one, I'm working from home. I'm not working from my office. And two, I just happened to be right in front of my computer when the live stream came up. Now, since then, Saneter took the live stream down. And Big Kev, you saw it, so you can attest to this. The reason why he took it down is because what Red Pill did was what a real G would do, what a real God would do. He actually walks over to Saneter's house, knocks on the door while Saneter is going live like a true king. Like a true God. Listen to me. That thing was, it was lit. You hear me? It was lit. Let me tell you the reason why I like that so much is because, remember, we're talking about Red Pill specifically. The reason why I like that so much is because Red Pill did a video and he was just speaking truth to power. You know what I'm saying? If your feelings got hurt, your feelings got hurt. It is what it is. If I'm talking about if I'm talking about a room full of child molesters, if I'm in that room and I'm not a child molester, then I'm not going to get hurt. You understand what I'm saying? If I'm talking about a room full of cross-dressers, if I'm in that room and somebody's in that room talking about a room full of cross-dressers, if I'm not a cross-dresser, it does not apply to me. What they say, if it does not apply, do what? Let it fly. So Red Pill actually was teaching last Monday, I believe. He did a video and he was just talking about how these different platforms in the conscious community, how these different platforms, how they're very divisive and how they take advantage of people, and how they, and then what somebody did was they took Red Pill's audio, they took Red Pill's video, and then they did like a parody of it. Now, as you guys know, anything about me, whenever I do commentary, whether it be on the conscious community or I do commentary on anything, my links are in the description. So in the description below, if you're watching this on live, come back and watch the replay. And in the description below, you're going to see the original video that that Red Pill did, which is an hour long. And then you're going to see the parody video that somebody else did where they were chopping up what Red Pill was saying and interacting videos of Saneter. So what happened was that people were saying that Red Pill did that video. Red Pill didn't do the parody video where it was making it obvious who he could have been talking about. But what happened was that Saneter got upset and Saneter got offended because of what happened. A hit dog, a holler. That's what I got to say about that. And I'm going to get to Saneter in a moment. We're talking about Red Pill right now. And so one thing that I admire so much about Red Pill is that he's always talking about empowerment, always talking about economic empowerment. He's very smart. He's very sharp. You don't hear nigga coming out of his mouth every 5 or 3 words. You don't hear him calling women out of their name. In my appraisal of what a true God, a true king, my appraisal of what a true woke gentleman is somebody like Red Pill. Red Pill right now is just trying to get his money up because he got caught up a few months back, and he's just trying to get his money up. And Red Pill, if you watch this, anything that I can do, my brother, to help you, because I'm a business consultant, I can help you grow your business. Reach out to me, my man. I'm actually going to reach out to you specifically on some old other stuff. But if you see this before I get a chance to reach out to you, reach out to me. As a business consultant, I have no problem making sure that you're successful. And so Red Pill goes and he's talking about the different platforms and the different resources, and he's talking about how we need to be more about community. He's talking about how we need to be more entrepreneurial. He's talking about that. There's only maybe 2 or 3 people I can think of off the top of my head in the conscious community that talks about solutions and resources. That's why I appreciate Red Pill so much as well. Every time Red Pill opens his mouth, he talks about a problem. He then talks about a solution, and that's how it should be. When you empower someone, and when you speak truth to power and you uplift them, you can't just rant and rave and do verbal masturbation, try to outsmart somebody, and to have these foolish debates that don't mean anything but leaves the people unimpacted and unempowered, okay? So that being said, that's another reason why I respect Red Pill and Blue Pill so much, is because they don't just talk about the issues, they talk about solutions. So that's the video that happened last week. So after that video runs, right before that video runs, Red Pill and Blue Pill calls out Brother Polight. The reason why they call out Brother Polight is because Red Pill and Blue Pill has always been on economic empowerment, and they set the platform for Brother Polight to come into the community. And because they set the platform for Brother Polight to come into the community, what they felt accountable, like their voices were needed to help bring some structure to what's been going on with Brother Polight. I'm about to talk about that in a second. All right. So that's the situation up until today. So Red Pill and Blue Pill calls out Brother Polight. When they call out Brother Polight, they do a very good job. Both of them do a very good job. They're educating, they're empowering, they're being examples. They're pillars. You know what I'm saying? They're living epistles. That's what a living epistle is. You're supposed to look at my life, look at my life, look at what I'm doing. And that's supposed to impact you and empower you. You need to look at me and look upon me to get inspired without me saying any and everything. That's the definition of a living epistle. So Red Pill in my appraisal is being a living epistle. Red Pill and Blue Pill in that video. Second video is Red Pill just speaking facts for an hour, just facts for a whole hour, just talking truth to power for a full hour. So after that, Brother Polight comes along. He gets in his feelings and he tries to quote unquote expose Red Pill. because some people were a little upset and a little frustrated because their clothing that they ordered from Red Pill did not come through. The reason why their clothing did not come through is because, listen, that's entrepreneurship. It just happens. You know, like I said, I did a video about Cynthia and Tyreek. It went viral. So far, I think I have like 16,000 to 17,000 views in less than 48 hours. This, I think, is my third or fourth highest viewed video. I have videos where I have 50,000 views. But in that video, a lot of people were saying things like, oh, you're just trying to be known, or you're just trying, this is like your 2 minutes of fame. I'm like, you have absolutely no idea who I am, do you? Like, you have absolutely no idea that I have a radio show that's in front of 1.5 million people. Like, you have absolutely no idea who I am. But they just instantly attacked me. But the point that I said all that to say that because of that video that did go viral, I had 6 new clients enroll into my course. Now, as an entrepreneur, I had 6 new clients enroll into my course off of that one video. Some people was like, oh, you're a scam artist. And I responded to them. I said, why are you saying I'm a scam artist? I signed up for your course. I bought your course. I didn't get anything. I go back and I look at the log. I said, ma'am, sir, check your spam folder. It's in your spam folder. And they said, oh. So what they said was, oh. They didn't say, I'm sorry. They didn't say, oh, I apologize. But what they did was they just automatically assumed they had this negative idea and this negative view on business. And that's the thing about it. Like, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about business. Business has different systems. They have different processes. They have different protocols. So people started to call out Red Pill because one of his suppliers ran out. That doesn't mean that you're a scam artist because they ran out. That doesn't mean that you're a Hotep hustler because somebody who you do business with ran out. And then after they ran out, they ran late. And so basically what Polight was doing, I apologize, people keep messaging me right now while I'm live. It's kind of weird. But anyway, so Brother Polight goes on, he tries to amplify customer service issues. Customer service issues are not the same thing as actual, tangible, legitimate proof that you defrauded someone, okay? Right now, Polight has a lot of different charges against him, accusations that he actually defrauded someone. I'm not saying customer service issues. I'm not saying that, I'm not talking about how you go to McDonald's and they don't have any napkins. Does it mean that McDonald's is a fraud now? Or you go and you have to wait an extra hour just so that you can get your car detailed. Does that mean that the car detailer shop is a fraud now? Or prime example, you enroll into my course and because you didn't check your spam folder, I'm a fraud now? No, check your spam folder, wait in line. It's called the vicissitudes of entrepreneurship. And the thing about it that bothers me is that in the conscious community, whenever you see a strong black man or black woman trying to make something of themselves, there is this modern day Jim Crow to where they instantly attack and become extremely divisive in nature. The reason why that's like, how in the world can you call yourself a Hotep and you call a female out of her name? How in the world can you call yourself a Hotep and call another god a nigga? How? How is it, if you understand what it is to be a god, when you are a god, when you speak things, it happens. If you decree a thing, it shall be established. Jehovah God said, let there be light, and he saw that there was light. Jehovah God said, let there be a firmament between the light and the dark, and they saw it. Jehovah God said it, and then the Bible says that the Pneumatica went over the waters because he saw it. He said it and you saw it. When the first thing that you are as a God, death and life is in the power of your tongue. So how can you be part of this conscious community and you tear down someone? You can agree to disagree and you can disagree with somebody and still have some decorum about yourself. Why is it that you call yourself a God when you're not even uplifting anybody? There is no way in the world, without a shadow of a doubt, without any equivocation, you can call yourself a woke God or goddess and you speak visceral negativity, regardless if you disagree with somebody. This young lady said to me, she was like, oh, this was a complete waste of time. My response was, I'm sorry that you feel that way, Queen. I didn't have to call her a bitch. I didn't have to call her a hoe. I didn't have to call her a scallywag. I didn't have to call her a hood rat or a bed wench because she disagreed with me. I am still a god, regardless if she acknowledges it or not. I'm still a king, whether she sees my royalty or not. So if you're in the conscious community, how is it possible you can call yourself a king, call yourself a god, call yourself a creator, that you can speak death and life is in the power of your tongue? Your most powerful weapon is your words. Whether you're using it to build up yourself or you're using it to tear somebody down, there is no way in the world that you can believe that you are magnetized to the point to where you have creative power and thought if you are allowing such visceral to come out of your mouth. No way in the world. You have a form of godliness, but you deny the power thereof. You might look like you're a god, but you're not really a god. You might look like a king, but you can't get into the kingdom. You might look a certain way. You have a form of godliness, but you're denying the power thereof. But I'm going to talk about the solution to that at the end. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be a table of contents for the people who can't sit through and they just want to get to their point. If you're watching this on the replay, there's going to be a table of contents, okay? So I'm going to come back and I'm going to answer some of these questions. So if you have a question and you're watching live, I'm not going to end this without answering your question, okay? So you might want to wait till I get to the end to ask your question. When I say that I'm opening up for questions, I see your questions, I see the good questions, but I am going to, answer your questions, okay? So we're going to talk about the solutions at the end. So thing number one, when it comes to red pill, they were trying to say that red pill was a crook when he is a entrepreneur. The reason why I'm such a successful entrepreneur is because, one, I am trained. I'm not somebody that has hood knowledge. I actually was employed by corporate America, which is the reason why I'm able to be a woke gentleman, to have consciousness of myself as a black man, but still be professional in nature. That's thing number one. Thing number two is because what I do, people need so much. There are over 8,100 businesses that start every single day in the United States of America. Over 9,000 businesses fail every single day in the United States of America. The number one reason why businesses fail is because they're underfunded and because they don't have proper collateral and credit. When you are a one-man band, when you are a one-man show, maybe you, your brother, and some other people, and you're getting out so much good content to the community, and you're living a lifestyle, and you are living a pistol like red pill, you're going to become overwhelmed. It is unfair to judge this man by the fact that he got orders backed up. That doesn't make you a crook. That makes you a very successful businessman that's been overwhelmed. Ask me how I know. I've been there before. So I said all of that to say this. Make sure that when we're talking about the situation, don't just because you don't like a brother or a sister does not mean that they're guilty of what you want them to be guilty of. Like I said, there are very few people in the conscious community that talk about solutions. Red Pill is one of them, and Dr. Umar Johnson is another. A lot of people do not like Dr. Umar Johnson. A lot of people can't stand Dr. Umar Johnson. But just because somebody talks in third person, and just because somebody has a very big ego, does not mean that they're a crook. And it doesn't mean that they are divisive. It just means that they are, they're a little eccentric, somewhat of a jerk, but it doesn't mean that they're guilty. But in the conscious community, because we have people they have a form of godliness, but they deny the power thereof. There is no way in the world, and I'm going to talk about this as many times as I can, there's no way in the world that you can load your mouth with such visceral, such hate, and you can spread such hate to tear down another black man or tear down another black woman. For you to call a woman out of her name, for you to denigrate her, for you to talk about her, and you call yourself a God, you're not a God. You are a pretender that want to be a God. But if you listen to the end, I'm going to show you how you can be a God, okay? So, Red Pill is such a G. Saneter is live on Saneter TV. Saneter is being divisive. He's being petty. Red Pill comes and knocks on the door and sits down next to Saneter. And they squash everything. Now, this is one thing I like so much about Red Pill, is that Saneter, and I'm going to talk about him in a minute, and everybody that I talk about, I want you to know that I'm going to be very constructive. And like I said, I am a God, I am a king, so I'm going to conduct myself in a certain way, and I'm going to speak truth to power. I'm going to educate them, I'm going to empower them, I'm going to speak life into them, but I'm also going to hold them accountable. So, the thing that I like about Red Pill is as soon as Red Pill sits down, he says, play that clip. Saneter says, no, I don't want to play that clip yet. Because Saneter's intent is not to have solution. Saneter intent is to entertain. Saneter TV is to entertain and to cause drama. That's Saneter's intent. The entire purpose for Saneter doing that video, he had over 1,600 people watching his video live. The reason why he did that was so that he can spread contentment. But as soon as Red Pill sits down, he says, play that video. And Saneter says, I don't want to play the video. Red Pill says, play the video. And the video was just days before a video of Red Pill and Saneter talking live, doing an interview talking about there was no beef. So basically what happened was Saneter was spreading the beef, but because Red Pill is a true God and a true king, he comes, sits down with him and squashes the whole beef. I really wish that they had left the video up because it was a great opportunity to really speak and teach truth to power in the conscious community. Yes, a lot of things that have been going on have been very divisive, but that was the best form of what it's like. Like I said, I think in my appraisal, Red Pill is a true epistle, somebody you can look at and look upon and be successful. So that's my thoughts about Red Pill. The next person that I'm going to talk about is Young Pharaoh. I respect Young Pharaoh tremendously. And like I said, guys, any and everything that I talk about, the link is in the description. So if you're watching this on the replay, the link is in the description. Now, the first video, unless somebody recorded it, I really hope somebody recorded Saneter's live stream so I can show what I just gave a exegete of what just happened. But with everything else and everybody else, the links are going to be in the description. Young Pharaoh, I respect Young Pharaoh so much. I love Young Pharaoh. I love his heart. I love his spirit. And I think that he's the future of the conscious community. If Young Pharaoh can take Red Pill's knowledge and wisdom with his tenacity and his strength, he's going to be the leader. He's definitely going to take the conscious. He's already took the conscious community by storm. I actually was texting Young Pharaoh yesterday. We were supposed to talk yesterday. We were supposed to talk Sunday, but he was busy and I got busy. And I'm actually trying to bring him on my radio show. Well, the podcast is a radio show that is a podcast. We changed the whole theme of it. Anyway, so I was on General Seti's live stream, and I reached out to Seti and Young Pharaoh, and I asked Pharaoh if I could interview him. I gave a super chat. Anytime I'm on somebody's live stream, I'm gonna bless you. I'm gonna give you money. Anytime I'm on somebody's live stream, I'm gonna drop off a bag. Anytime I'm on somebody's live stream. That's how I end up connecting with Cynthia. That's how I end up connecting with who else was it? I blessed Cynthia a few times. If I'm on your live stream and I have the opportunity to, and I'm in front of my computer, I'm gonna drop off the bag. So I did that with Young Pharaoh, and we exchanged information. And so I'm talking about having him come on the show to talk about economic empowerment specifically. What I want to say about Young Pharaoh is a lot of people are trying to come at Young Pharaoh because he is pulling himself apart from the conscious community. And he's wanting to come up with his own way. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Young Pharaoh is actually coming out with something, I think he calls it an institute, an online learning institute. Now, Young Pharaoh teaches about the Meta Netra, and he talks about a lot of science and a lot of things that I think are enlightening. But in my appraisal, in my opinion, and I stand 10 toes down, I said to Young Pharaoh, I said to anybody, is that we need something that's solution-based and that's tangible right now. I'm talking about how I can get out my mama's basement. I'm talking about how I can stop working for this person who makes me depressed. I'm talking about how I can stop being tempted to cheat on my wife. I'm talking about how I can stop being tempted to cheat on my husband. Or I'm talking about how I can stop wanting to beat my wife. Or I'm talking about how I can want to stop abusing my child, or whatever the issue is. Like, these are the issues that face African Americans in droves. And we need someone that's going to speak truth to power to give us solutions for the answers. When I go back and I look and I do an appraisal and I do a commentary on the conscious community, it's a whole bunch of ripping and running, and it's a whole bunch of loud talking about who is the smartest and who's the quote unquote toughest and who has the most clout. And they asking, what are you doing for your people? And you're not doing anything but entertaining them. It's worse than Atlanta Housewives. Some of these conscious community videos are worse than Atlanta Housewives, worse than the Basketball Wives. It's a whole bunch of drama, but there's no solutions attached to it. And that's one of the things that I do, and I do appreciate about, like I said, Red Pill and Dr. Umar Johnson, some others, is that talk about the solutions. And that's my contribution, is that I want to talk about solutions. Now the thing with Young Pharaoh, like I said, is Young Pharaoh just beat a case that Dr. Mayat put up against him, a frivolous case. Can you imagine all the energy and the effort that Young Pharaoh could put into his lectures and put into making a name for himself, and can put into really helping others if he didn't have to face that dumb, frivolous case that Dr. Mayat put up against him because she was jealous. Like I said, there's so much jealousy, envy, and strife in the conscious community. Like I said, Young Pharaoh, I think, is the future of the conscious community. I don't think that anybody should try to discredit the young man because he's trying to really make a name for himself. He wants to teach. He wants to be very philosophical. He wants to be very enlightened, and that's his lane. Let him teach in that lane. Let him do that in his lane. One of the things that I respect the most about Young Pharaoh is Young Pharaoh ain't no joke. Young Pharaoh ain't gonna let you just do anything to him. Young Pharaoh ain't gonna let you just get away with it. Young Pharaoh is the king of receipts. You understand what I'm saying? If Young Pharaoh gonna come with something, he gonna come with the receipts. And when you watch the video in the description, you gonna know what I'm talking about. He put Saneter on blast. He put Brother Polight on blast. He got screenshots. He got phone conversations. That's one thing I love so much about Young Pharaoh, is that he is so genuine and he is so authentic. Any and everything Young Pharaoh needs to be successful in the culture, in the community, just like I said with Red Pill, have no hesitation to reach out to me. I want him to succeed and I want him to be successful. There's nothing wrong with him trying to monetize his platform. People are trying to badmouth him because he's coming out with a membership site, or he's coming out with an online university. You know, young man, no, young God, yes, that's what you need to do. You need to become an entrepreneur and empower yourself. Do it. Don't let a hater or somebody who is jealous of what you're doing trying to come up against what you're doing. No, Young Pharaoh, you do that, my God. You do that and teach others how to do it as well. Now, the next person in the order that I'm talking about is Brother Polight. When I first found out about Brother Polight was a very, very, very genius mind. Speaks a lot of different languages. He represented the conscious community extremely well. I had tremendous respect for him. Everything that he was doing was on the up and up that I saw originally. I had a tremendous amount of respect. I wanted to become even more woke after seeing Brother Polight on The Breakfast Club. But when I saw how he went against Pharaoh, I started to lose respect for him. What Brother Polight did was the right thing to do. If you in the hood, you need to get out of the hood. Plain, no ifs, ands, buts about it. If you're in a situation to where your life is threatened, or if you're in a situation to where you are continually doing the negative, bad things, you have to stop doing those negative, bad things and then reach out, empower, educate, and inform. But the problem is that when you take a Negro out of the hood, sometimes you can't take the hood out of the Negro. And so if you say that you are a God and you are enlightened as a God, you have to understand that as a God, you reside in a temple. As a king, you reside in a temple. You don't reside in the hood. It just is what it is. Make no mistakes about it, no qualms about it. Remember, a lot of these people have a form of godliness, but they deny the power thereof. I think Brother Polight meant well. He meant extremely well. If I go back and look at the demise and the downfall of Brother Polight, he got in over his head. A young brother asked me about what do I think about changing up your citizenship. Who was it that asked me that question? It was Water Sniper. All right, Water Sniper. All right, so Water Sniper asked me the question if I know anything about citizenship. So Brother Polight, if you guys don't know anything about Brother Polight was as a felon, And so what Brother Polight did is he was part of the Moorish movement, and a lot of people talking about having sovereignty. And to be very honest with you guys, coming from the background that I come from in banking and finance, is that a lot of times when the government knows that there are loopholes, they plug the loopholes. So what Brother Polight was saying was true. He got in over his head. He didn't adjust. One of the reasons why I'm so successful as an entrepreneur is because I stay connected to banking and finance, and because I have these years of experience in banking and finance, and because I stay connected with the news and the guidelines and the loopholes. It doesn't mean that it never was true. It just means that you have to adjust the information and you have to change it for the better. Somebody asked me, how much do I charge to fix credit? I don't fix credit. That's not what I do. I teach you how to fix your own credit. Somebody asked, how much do I charge? As a consultant, my online course, I teach you what you need to do. If you do A, B, C, and D, you will get X, Y, and Z. I have a video testimonial from phone calls today. Like I said, all of my phone calls are recorded. One, for quality assurance, and two, because as a consultant, I need to be able to go back and look at the notes. And one of the young ladies who I did a consultation with, she was talking about how happy she was because she was lost on her journey of entrepreneurship. She didn't know how lost she was until she got into the course. And I'm going to drop all three of them tomorrow. I'm going to drop two of them today. One, I'm waiting to get an approval back from a lender. And once I get that approval back, I'm going to add that approval to that conversation. I saw that she messaged me, but I didn't get a chance to see what her husband said about that loan that they were pre-qualified for. But the fact that the point that I'm trying to make is this: if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. But if you teach a man how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Unfortunately, in the African American community, we are looking for somebody to save us. That's the reason why religion is so important to us, because we need a savior. We want a savior. A lot of us have been displaced. We're looking for, like women's, a lot of times women aren't looking for a relationship. A lot of women are looking for a rescue. A lot of times, a lot of women are not looking for a relationship. They're looking for a rescue. A lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them. A lot of men aren't looking for companionship. They're looking for a come up. Not all of them, but a lot of them. A lot of them are not looking for companionship, but they're looking for a come up. In the African American community, we are so used to getting hand out that we don't know how to get hand up. In my course, I don't give anybody hands out. I don't give you a handout, I give you a hand up. I teach you how you're able to do it. I teach you how you're able to be compliant. I teach you how you can be successful. If you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. But if you teach a man a fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. My goal with my lectures, and my goal with all of my books, and my goal with my motivation isn't to make you dependent on me, but it is to really educate you and empower you so that you can move forward. That's the whole purpose of it. So I said all of that to say this: Brother Polight got caught up. What he was doing was right. He did have some success, but then the loophole got closed up. There was a credit union right now that was giving out $20,000. They were just giving out $20,000 like it wasn't nothing. Just giving out $20,000 like it's nothing. So I actually know somebody that that had a product. They were selling a product for $75. This product that they were selling was teaching people how to go to this credit union to get $20,000. Guess what? Up until 2 weeks ago, that product that the person bought that was selling for $75 was accurate. But now it's not accurate. So what'll happen is that my colleague needs to go up and update that product that he's selling for $75, or take it down so that somebody doesn't buy that thinking that the guidelines are the same to go through to get that $20,000 from that credit union. That's what happened with Polight. Polight got caught up. Polight wanted to do good by the people. He started out by doing good by the people, but he got caught up. It got out of hand. If you don't see that Brother Polight is powerful, then that's just because you are a hater. You can criticize somebody and not discredit him. Brother Polight he used to have 3 wives. He now has 2 wives, and that are absolutely gorgeous. And his main wife is drop dead gorgeous because she's a reflection of him. He helped and he developed her and pushed her to being a phenomenal queen that she is. Brother Polight has access to millions. He has influence. He has authority. But he squandered it. He got caught up. He messed himself up. So now, that being said, he has to remedy the situation and make it right. The problem is that Brother Polight did not come back hat in hand, and he did not humble himself. And he had the bravado, and he got caught into being this personality, and the personality was too big for who his persona was. At the end of the day, Brother Polight was one of the few people that talked about helping others when he talked about solutions, but he got caught up in that lifestyle. He got caught up in them Bentleys. He got caught up in them threesomes. He got caught up in that fast lights. You know what I'm saying? He got caught up dealing with Music Soul Child. That's the reason why one of his wives ended up leaving him for Music Soul Child. He got caught up in that situation, and it got wicked. The definition of wicked means to become twisted. If you do an etymology on the word wicked, it means to twist. So his anointing became wicked. Make no mistakes about it. No equivocations. Polight is talented, and he is anointed, and he is powerful. But what happened was that it became wicked. It became twisted. And he did not self-adjust himself. And he went along with the flow. It's still not too late for him to repent, because he is very intellectual. He has a following that he can really impact others. But Polight is really going to have to come and get himself together. Unfortunately, now he's facing some real criminal charges, because it went on a little too far, a little too much. And his wife, one of his wives that got pregnant by Music Soul Child, just exposed him for one of the scams that he was doing when he was trying to push his newest wife to go speak, and was trying to mask it as a real estate deal. Unfortunately, I mean, you have to be accountable for your actions. So with Brother Polight, unfortunately, Brother Polight is, the fruit that he's displaying looks like that he might be a conscious crook. Red Pill, not a Hotep hustler, not a conscious crook. Pharaoh, not a Hotep hustler or a conscious crook. Brother Polight, he didn't start out that way, but it got too much for him. That's my appraisal, in my opinion. And Saneter, Saneter is one of the most powerful individuals in the conscious community, because he's one of the godfathers of the movement. We would not know who Young Pharaoh was if it wasn't for Saneter. It just is what it is. That's facts. I don't argue facts. I can argue feelings, but I can't argue facts. A fact is that Young Pharaoh was popping. The fact is Young Pharaoh is anointed. The fact is Young Pharaoh is a genius. The fact is Young Pharaoh was doing what he was doing on his level. But it was not until Saneter set him on that couch to where he became this larger platform. He has that larger platform. That's facts. I'm not talking about feelings. The fact is that Young Pharaoh is a man within his own right. But the fact also is that Saneter gave him resources that he did not have access to. Facts. You cannot deny the facts. Saneter, fact, gave the biggest distribution to Dr. Umar Johnson. Fact, Dr. Umar Johnson is very intelligent. Fact, Dr. Umar Johnson is very powerful. Fact, Dr. Umar Johnson is one of the most accomplished individuals in the conscious community. Fact, he became a lot more well-known because of Saneter. You can't take that away from him. Saneter has been out in the community being the resource, having the biggest impact, the biggest influence. Besides Tommy Sotomayor, I think that Saneter has the biggest impact and the biggest influence. You cannot take that away from him. Whether you like it or not, whether you like some of the things that he do or not, you cannot deny the facts. Regardless of what you say, on this Rolex day and date, the time is now 4:45 my time. That could be an opinion if it's not accurate or not. That's a fact, though, if it is accurate. You cannot deny the facts. Regardless of the feelings, you cannot deny the facts. Saneter has used his influence to create these wonderful lectures and create these wonderful platforms, and he is one of the godfathers of the movement. But Saneter, just like Brother Polight, his anointing became wicked. It became twisted. Look at the etymology of wicked. The etymology of the word wicked means to be twisted. It means to twist. It became wicked. It became a little perverted. So much so to the point to where now Saneter does not know how to be entertaining and does not know how to keep up his impact without being visceral and being petty. Saneter is self-destructing himself. Facts. Saneter is attacking powerful individuals instead of allowing the young men to be great, and instead of allowing others to live. He wants to be at the top, but he's becoming dated and he doesn't know how to stay on top. That's a fact. And so because of that, Saneter is causing more harm than good. If it was not for Red Pill coming and knocking on Saneter's door and sitting down next to him and setting the record straight, then it would have been another quote unquote beef or diss that's going on. Facts. Facts. Saneter called the parole officer for Young Pharaoh. That was horrendous. And you should be ashamed of yourself, Saneter. You are a godfather. You are a god and a godfather. What in the world are you doing, Saneter? Saneter called the parole officers. And because Young Pharaoh chose not to sign the contract, he began to attack this young man. Because Saneter is becoming antiquated and he does not know how to stay on top. My advice to Saneter is to build the bridge, reach out instead of trying to control and monopolize. That's facts. It was proven without a shadow of a doubt because Young Pharaoh just exposed him. He just put it out there. So in my appraisal, Saneter is not a country's crook. He could be a Hotep hustler, in my appraisal. But it's not too late. Red Pill did a very good job of trying to bridge the gap and put everything together, in my appraisal. That's my appraisal of the situation. So I said all of that to say this. That ginger beer is good. I said all of that to say this. These are the pillars. These are the leaders. These are the people in the forefront of the country's community. We need to look at people like Red Pill and Blue Pill. We need to look at people like Young Pharaoh. We need to look at these individuals, like even Seti. Like Seti, I understood Seti got his hat handed to him the day before yesterday because of an intellectual battle. But in my appraisal, intellectual battles don't do nothing for my bottom line. We need solutions. And the solution is that in the country's community, if you do want to magnetize yourself and you really do want to become a god, you have to first love yourself. Do you know how many people watch my videos and say, "You're so full of yourself"? Of course I'm full of myself. What am I supposed to hate myself? Because a lot of us in the African American community, we want to be woke, but we are not really waking ourselves up. There must be a change with the inner man before the outer man can ever be renewed. So the reason why you can see me wearing custom dashikis, this is another custom dashiki that I had from, it's summertime, so I'm gonna bring out a lot of my custom dashikis for the summertime. This is also from Saloon, Sierra Leone. I am Creole. So because I am Creole, all of my stuff is from Sierra Leone. I'm actually planning on going to Saloon sometimes in the wintertime with my uncles and my cousins. But anyway, because of that, you're able to see me ride a certain way. You're able to see me drive a certain way. You're able to see me provide certain things for my daughter. You're able to see me be an impact to others. And there must be a change with the inner man before the outer man can ever be renewed. And so in the conscious community, a lot of these young brothers, they are depressed. They hate themselves. The reason why they hate themselves is because they haven't accomplished things. You have to accomplish something and build on that to grow your self-esteem. You need to empower yourself, young God, so you can truly be a God. And not just have on a police officer uniform looking like a police officer, but actually have the power and the authority of a police officer. If you put on a police officer's garment and you look like a police officer, you tell somebody to stop, they're not gonna stop because you're not a real police officer. But when you are a true police officer, this just came to my mind, you can say stop. You have the authority to stop. That backs it up. The exact same thing when it comes to you and your consciousness and you being a God, you being woke and you being the king that you are. There's no way in the world that you can call yourself a king and you denigrate your queen or women. There's no way in the world. You have to speak those things that be not as though they were. If you are a king, you understand that. The very first thing that you do, if you want to become woke and you want to become a king and you want to be a god, you have to speak things into existence. The very first thing that you do, if you do not bridle your tongue, you will never have creative power in your words. That's what kings do. That's what gods do. God says things and you see things. That's the very first thing you have to do. So all the negativity, all the hate, all the spewing, all the quote unquote commentary, all of that, all of those loose sips that you're having, you are taking away your own power and you don't know it because you have a form of godliness, but you deny the power thereof. If you're living in your mama's basement, I need for you to come up with a plan where you can be out of your mama's basement in 3 to 4 months. If you don't have a job right now and you call yourself a king, you call yourself a god, and you want to be able to be a king to a queen, there's no way that you're going to be able to do that if you are underemployed. I need for you to become better employed. I don't care if you have a felony. I talked to a client today who just got back into civilization. He's a truck driver right now, making great money. His credit score just went up 116 points. You're going to hear it. You're going to see the video. These videos that I'm talking about, the testimonials, I'm going to drop those in the description as well. So if you're watching this on the replay, today is Monday. Let's say if you're watching this on the replay and it's after Wednesday, those will be in the description as well. Anybody else, just go to my YouTube channel and you'll see success stories and they'll be under there. But I said all that to say is that if you want to be a god and you truly want to be a god, you can either make changes or you can make excuses, but you cannot make both. So I understand you might be depressed, but if you are a slave to smoking weed and you can't pass a drug test, how in the world can you say that you are a god and you are a slave to narcotics? How can you be a king and rule and you are a slave to getting high? You can't go and get a better job for yourself or for others. You can't go out and protect somebody else and others because your piss is dirty and you call yourself a god and you call yourself woke. I need for you to really wake up for real, for real. Seriously, if you call yourself a god, then be a god. Don't just put on the uniform, actually possess it if you want to become woke. So I say all of that to say this. Men I'm going to do a lot of these videos. I'm going to do several of these videos just teaching on, because the revelation that I got is that there are so many men in the conscious community that are self-destructive. They hate themselves. They are ashamed of themselves. The reason why they attack women the way that they do is because they really want to attack themselves, because they have not accomplished what they need to accomplish and become the real true kings that they are. I'm going to do a lot of videos talking about self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is similar to self-esteem. Self-esteem is the way that you feel about yourself. Self-efficacy is what you allow to happen to yourself because of what you feel about yourself. A lot of you people that are 26, 28 years old, 40 years old, you have allowed yourself to become dependent upon your parents. You have allowed yourself to become dependent upon a woman. You have allowed yourself to do those things. And because of that, you have very low self-appraisal of yourself. So when you see somebody like Red Pill, when you see somebody like Young Pharaoh, when you see somebody like E.DeanCole, who is unapologetically himself, when you see somebody like Dr. Umar Johnson, who does love themselves, who does reside in their godlike creation, it makes you uncomfortable and you begin to attack that person. If you see another king and you see another god and your first inclination is to attack them, that is a check that you are not a god or a king, because game recognize game. Kings recognize kings. It is what it is. If you go back, if I can wax theological a little bit, and if you go back and you look at the history of time, mere mortals have always wanted to attack gods. If you find yourself attacking a god, that's because you have the mind and the seat of a mere mortal, not as the God who you are, who you want to become woke and you want to become enlightened. Do it. Don't just talk about it, be about it. So what does that mean you need to do? That means that you need to get a better paying job if you don't have one. If you have a criminal background, that means that you need to create a business and you need to have a good business plan, and not some nigger rig thing, but actually tangible business plan that you can come and take to market. That means that you need to learn how to do internet marketing. That means you need to know how to do social media marketing. That means that you need to know how to do email marketing. If you are a felon and you cannot go and get a good paying job, that means you need to create that job yourself. And the way that you're going to do that is by learning more things and taking your consciousness to another level. Learn how to do internet marketing. Learn how to do social media marketing. Learn how to actually come up with a tangible business plan that you can go straight directly to consumer, so you don't have to rely on winning the lottery, signing a record deal, somebody saving you. You save your own self. If you are a true king and a true God, I need for you to do those things. I don't want you to become a Hotep hustler. I want you to really actually possess the ability and the power to do so. That's thing number one. Thing number two, if you do not have the credit to go and get an apartment, if you do not have the credit to go and get a car, if you are having to sleep with women just so you can have a place to sleep at night, or sleep with women so you can get something to eat, or sleep with women and get women to do your bidding, that means that I need for you to take a break from women and focus on yourself. I need for you to take a break from women, and I need for you to focus on yourself, because other people need you to be the God and the king that you really are, and not hate on other gods and other kings. Okay? If you take that energy and you focus on yourself, in 90 days, your credit score can be 200 points higher. I teach people how to make it happen in 30 days. But you can do it by yourself without somebody teaching you in 200 points in 90 days. You can do it. If you position yourself, instead of all the energy and effort trying to bust a nut, all the energy and effort to trying to figure out what old girl mouth do, instead of all the energy and effort trying to get her to buy you some new Jordans, put that energy and effort into yourself and become the true God that you really are. If you become the true God that you really are, you would not have any issue with your woman shining the way that she shines. I've discovered the reason why a lot of black men don't understand why women wear makeup the way that they do is because they're adorning themselves. If you do not know that the queen mothers, and if you do not know that the queens back in Africa used makeup back then, way before a white person was ever thought about, that's because you are disconnected and you have a form of godliness, but you deny the power thereof. Makeup has been around ever since the sun was in the sky. Weave has been around ever since the sun was in the sky. No, they did not take the animal weave, but they had headpieces. And if you cannot see that that's a woman adorning herself, then that's because you have that's because you're trying to keep your woman here and you here. You're trying to keep your woman here and you here. If you are a king and you are a God, your woman needs to be right there sitting next to you. I don't date handmaidens, I date queens. I don't date concubines, I date queens. Because I'm a king. So if you call yourself a God and you want to be a God, that's what you need to do. Focus on doing those things. So you will not be a Hotep hustler or a conscious crook. Last and not least, if you call yourself a God and you want to become a God, I need for you to love yourself. I need for you to really earnestly love yourself. Create one small goal that you can accomplish and accomplish that goal. And then create a second goal that you can accomplish and accomplish that goal. Create a third goal that you can accomplish and accomplish that goal. I don't care if it's something small, like saying I'm about to go and something small, I'm about to just research business plans, or I'm going to go and apply for a job. Set the goal and accomplish the goal. The reason why is because when you set a goal and you accomplish the goal, that is how you become to have real Hotep, which is inner peace. If you do an etymology of the word Hotep, it's an Egyptian word which means peace. So if you really want to become a true Hotep and have inner peace and love yourself for real, that means that you're going to accomplish things. The more things that you accomplish, the more things that you do, the more powerful you will become. The more you're going to feel accomplished about yourself, and you're going to take it, you're going to grow from it. So I said all of that to say this. It's needed so much. Like I think I'm going to create a lecture series on overcoming the self-deprivation that the African American man has for himself. Like, it's ridiculous. It's visceral. And the thing about it is, like they reek of it. Like an insecure woman reeks of insecurity. The same way an insecure man reeks of insecurity, especially to another man. It's ridiculous. And you can't even be mad at them because you really can't be mad at them because it's like they don't see it themselves. If I can become pedagogical, I want you to think about this. If you can think about Pigpen, when Pigpen on the Peanuts gang, he would walk around and he would have this cloud of smoke around him. That's what your insecurities, that's what your low self-esteem, that's what your self-hate, that's what your unsurety looks and smell and feels like. But because you're in that cloud, you can't see it or feel it yourself. Have you ever gone to somebody's house and the house stinks so bad? They don't even see it anymore because they are indoctrinated with it. It becomes their norm. But to somebody who, when you come into that light, it is not that norm. Listen, the #1 best-selling book says that when light shines in the darkness, darkness comprehends it not. So that means that when you see a God shining, when you see a queen shining, when you see a king shining, when you see a queen shining, when you see it, you're not going to comprehend it because the light is shining into darkness. When light shines into darkness, darkness comprehends it not. So that's my encouragement for all you content creators, all of you kings and queens that are living your truth, doing what you want to do, and you're getting the hate, you're getting the visceral, you're getting the people hating on you, you're getting the people to undermine you, you're getting the people to try to discredit you. Don't be discouraged. Don't be weary in your well-doing, because in due season you will reap if you faint not. Your light is going to, hopefully they're going to become illuminated by the light that they shine, because when light shines in the darkness, they comprehend it not. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's basically it. If you watch this all the way up until this point, it's been an hour and some change. I tried to keep it as short as possible. Like I said, if you watch it on the video, on the replay, the description in the very top of the video is a table of contents. I don't want to have a table of contents on my videos because I don't want to be taken out of context. At the same time, I have to meet people where they are. And certain people just wanted to come to listen to what I had to say about Young Pharaoh. Certain people wanted to come to listen to what I had to say about Saneter. Some people just wanted to come and listen to see what I had to say about Red Pill. So, and some people just wanted to come to get the solution. The solution to the matter is going to be at the bottom as well. So once again, if you're watching this on the replay, give me some time. The links will be in the description for my commentary of everything that I'm talking about. I hope somebody has the video that Saneter did with Red Pill, because that was such a powerful moment in the conscious community, because Red Pill came and he stood 10 toes down and he defended himself. And Saneter, the evil that he thought happened, ended up working out for Red Pill's good. That's another thing to you haters. Every comment, every negative comment, every negative thumbs down, it all makes the movement. It all impacts and empowers the movement. So for what you meant for my bad, Jehovah God made for my good. So I'm going to answer some of your questions. All right, so I'm going to answer some of your questions. So ask questions now. So I see a lot of comments. I'm going to try to come to these comments, but answer questions now. All right. All right, so D-Mac says, keep spitting the truth. Thanks. You are very, very welcome, D-Mac. I appreciate you. Great show today. Who was that? That was Sammy Mac. I appreciate that, Sammy Mac. Okay, so Carolina Tanker says, if anyone is patient yet willing to explain. Okay, so Carolina Tanker asked me that question below. I see your telephone number, so break that down. Island Boy says, yes, Dean, a lecture series is needed. Lead the way. It says lead the way, and the woke kings and queens will follow. Yes, I am going to do, because I have a lecture series for economic empowerment, I'm actually going to be speaking at Howard University. I was supposed to speak at Howard University in May, but we pushed it back to September for the fall. So I'll be speaking at Howard University, and I'll be talking about economic empowerment. So I have a lecture at Howard University. I also have a lecture that I'll be speaking here in Atlanta, talking about economic empowerment at my office space. So I'm about to start doing lectures at my office space as well, because I have this big auditorium area in my office space. I'm paying for it, and I'm not even using it. So I'm about to start I'm gonna call them Friday Night Lives. On Friday nights, I'll be able to speak. So if you're in the Atlanta area, we're gonna be talking about that. So I'm going to be talking about economic empowerment. I'm going to put it on not Eventbrite, because it's going to be free. Yes, free. A free lecture. You want to know why? Because I am a God, I am a king. Not everything will be free, but this will be free because I pay for it anyway. That's the thing. When you are a progenitor, when you are a protector, a provider, and a priest and a progenitor, then you're able to really serve the people. So I'm going to have a free seminar, a free lecture that's going to teach you how you're going to boost your credit score 100 points in 100 days. I'm going to have a free lecture about how you're able to boost your credit score 100 points in 100 days. What I'm telling you is not no hustle. I'm telling you because I am a trained, licensed professional. This is what I do. At the same time, I'm woke. I'm not in a sunken place. So, yes, I'm young, fly, and flashy. And yes, I love myself. Yes, I'm full of myself. And you need to be too. You need to be too. You need to love yourself. You need to be full of yourself. If you loved yourself, you would not allow that woman to treat you the way that she treats you. If you loved yourself, you would not allow that man to treat you the way that he treats you. If you love yourself, you would not allow yourself to be manipulated and to be used to make somebody else rich the way that you're making your boss rich. If you loved yourself, you would not hate yourself and hurt yourself the way that you do with those drugs. You would not sleep with a man just because you want to have him around if you really loved yourself. I need for you to love yourself. So Island Boy, like I said, I'm going to have a complete separate, I think I have to come up with a lecture just talking about self-efficacy and self-love, because it's so evident, especially in the conscious community. Like, how can you call yourself woke and you have such hatred in your heart towards yourself, especially towards the mirror image of you? Like, the way that these men are going in on these women is just ridiculous, especially because it's out of ignorance. They don't understand that makeup has been around since the sun has been in the sky. Women have been adorning themselves since the beginning of time. It has nothing to do with a woman trying to become white or Caucasian. It has all to do with female hormones and femininity, with the spirit of pneumatica. That's the reason why. But because somebody does not understand it, because light shines in the darkness and darkness comprehends it not. But this is 2017. So a woman is not going to put a head piece on her head, but she might put a long weave on her head. A woman might not put war paint on her face, but she might do her eyelashes, because it's about her self-esteem and a self-appraisal of herself. That has been going on since the beginning of time. And if a man has a problem with that, it's because he has a problem with his queen shining. The reason why is because you're not yet a king. If you are a king, you have no problem with your queen shining. You need your queen to shine. All right, I apologize. Let me answer some of these questions. All right, so Fresh Air Brown says you better hurry up and sign up before you get too big and you brand and you forget about the little people. I'll never forget about the little people, Fresh Air Brown, because I used to be a little people. I am still a little people, but I still have somewhat of a God complex. You should have a God complex. Beyonce say she got a God complex. Y'all go crazy. A strong black man say he got a God complex. Y'all think, oh my gosh, he's full of the devil. You need to have a God complex because you are the God of this world. That's what the Bible says. We are the gods of this world. We have Jehovah God, and then you are your God of this world. You create, you decree a thing, it shall be established. You speak it into existence. What you say is what you see. The power of attraction, the law of attraction. You become accountable for your own actions. All right, let me keep going. All right, so let's see. All right, so Carolina Trucker says, can I contact you about a subject and you want to team with somebody new outside of your comfort zone? Okay, Carolina Tanker. So Carolina Tanker, do me a favor. Reach out to me on Facebook, because I want to interview you. So ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you who is you're in the presence of Carolina Tanker. Carolina Tanker is a millionaire trucker. Carolina Tanker has, I think, how many trucks you got, Carolina Tanker? 16 trucks? Millionaire. Young man that's watching this right now, if you are living with your mama and you are stuck, I need for you to do two things. I need for you to, one, clean up your piss, and number two, go get your CDLs by driving company for somebody for a year. I have clients right now that have over $15,000, over $50,000, $30,000 saved up because for a year they went and drove coast to coast for somebody else. Some of them are still woke. They still love their wives, still love their girlfriends or whatever. But for an entire year, my man, a company will pay. You can be in New York, you can be in Harlem, you can be in Alabama, you can be in Mississippi, you can be in Shreveport, you can be anywhere you are. If you have clean piss and a clean driving record and a GED, even if you have a felony, it does not matter. You can go with one of these companies, become your own man, and you can drive, learn a trade, and you can be like Carolina Tanker. Carolina Tanker got millions of dollars. He got millions of dollars with a large contract And this is what happens when you are a king. You magnetize yourself, and people like this come and they sit at your feet. Not with a God complex like that, but I'm talking about so that they can educate and empower themselves. You become a magnet to that. When I say that I want to make millionaires, I have to bring millionaires around me so that I can connect you with other people like Carolina Tanker. So Carolina Tanker, I want you to reach out to me. Reach out to me on Facebook. Message me on Facebook, because I did see your telephone number, but it's going to go away because the comments live goes away. So Carolina Tanker, if you look in the description of my video, and also wait for this video to be published, look in the description of my video, Carolina Tanker, you'll see a link to my Facebook. Or look on the description on my YouTube channel. You'll see my information there. So reach out to me on Facebook. It might be a filtered email, a filtered message. And if you don't have a Facebook, because I know you're an older gentleman, you can call my office line. So if you look on the description of I have 3 websites. All 3 of my websites have my office number. You can call my office number. If I'm in the office, then my secretary will send it to me if I'm in the office, or if I'm out of the office, I have it ring to my office. Have it ring to my cell phone. So Carolina Tanker, reach out to me so we can talk about that. I appreciate that. All right. All right, trying to be like you, Carolina Tanker. Ebony says that. Okay. All right, so who is this? So Trib Judah says, are you so-called African Americans the true Israelites or of the Holy Bible? Tribe Judah, I talk about things that are going to help and impact people and empower people. Whether somebody chooses to become a Hebrew Israelite or not, I am Creole, because my family is from Sierra Leone. So I'm not Hotep, because I don't have any affiliation with Egypt. I have affiliation with West Africa. I am Creole. Not C-R-E-O-L, but K-R-I-O. I am Creole from Sierra Leone. So I know that specifically. I am not a misplaced African American man. I am African that happens to be in America. So I'm lucky like that, but everybody's not lucky like that. I just happen to be lucky like that. I'm first generation. I'm actually about to link up with my cousin right now. I'm just lucky like that. I'm blessed like that. I'm grateful to have that connection, but a lot of people don't. But I don't entertain frivolous information like that. What I want to know is, how can you build a house? How can you clothe someone? How can you employ someone? How can you feed someone? How can you have strength and not division? If I'm an African American and I look like this, and I'm an African American and I look like that, if you argue with me that I'm a Christian and you argue with me that I'm a Muslim, that means that we spending time arguing and we don't have power. But when we come together, we now have power. There's too much division and too much Jim Crow and too much divisiveness in the African American culture to argue about something that have absolutely no relevance of being a Hebrew Israelite or being an African American or being an African. It has no bearings whatsoever. This is 2017. Our real oppressor is white supremacy. Not every white person is white supremacy. So if you're not, like for instance, if it don't apply, let it fly. So if you're not a white supremacist and you're a client of mine, I'm not talking to you. If you're a Caucasian person, I'm not talking to you if you don't believe in, you don't subscribe to that way of thinking. But there are people that subscribe to that way of thinking that are in power right now. There's somebody, I used to work for some. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The way that they would try to put their finger on their employees. Ridiculous. To make themselves feel good. Ridiculous. I've worked for a lot of crackers in my lifetime. Not all white people are crackers, but I've worked for some crackers. Listen to me. And every chance they got, they want to put their thumb on somebody. Do you know how powerful it is that it is a Monday? I worked from my home. That is my home. I get to dress like I want to dress, do like I want to do. And I'm not saying this to impress you, but to impress upon you that I have successful clients that are around me. I am my own boss. I am my own boss, and I made a tremendous amount of money today because of that video from that happened this weekend, and because some people reaching out to me. When you set yourself and position yourself the right way and you are an entrepreneur, that is what happens. So I said all of that to say that is the energy that I want to focus on, regardless if somebody's an Israelite or not, What purpose do the Mende have to deal with the Yoruba? Why argue if you're a Mende or Yoruba? You're West African, or you're African, or you're Nigerian. What matter? What does that matter? What in the world does the Tutsi have to deal with the Hutu? What does that matter? That's foolishness. That is the foolishness that has caused the African American culture and has caused the conscious community to not have any power because of the division. You are arguing something that has absolutely no bearings of your financial future or no bearings of your ability to become a progenitor and leave an inheritance to your children's children. Instead of putting energy and efforts to try to figure out if you're a Hebrew Israelite or if you're a Christian or if you're a Muslim, make sure that your soul is together, make sure your soul is right, and go out and help somebody get off crack cocaine. Go out and help somebody get off a strip pole. Go out and help a woman stop cutting herself. Go out and help a woman stop selling herself. Go out and help a young man stop becoming a homosexual because that's the only way he can feel love from a man. Go out and do those things. Put your energy and efforts into that instead of trying to figure out and argue if you're a Hebrew Israelite. That's ridiculous. There ain't no Hebrew Israelite. You're probably a Yoruba, or you're probably a Hutu, or you're probably a Creole. That's the reality of it. Instead of becoming a Hotep hustler or a conscious con man, get woke for real, for real. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I gotta go. I gotta go because I tried to make the video short. I wanted the video to not to be as long. So I'm gonna have to go back and I'm going to, like I said, I'm gonna go back and I'm going to put the table of contents at the very top of the video. I gotta answer one last question because I got off track. All right, okay, good question. Here we go, and I'm gonna let it go. All right, so he says, I drive for Swift, but you don't know about the training program, and you don't think that it's going to, and you don't want to hear about good things about Prime and KLLM. All right, so let me reread that question because it looked like it's kind of choppy. It says, all right, right now you drive for Swift, but you don't know about the training program. So you're saying you don't know about Swift's training program, so it should be period or comma. And it says, now you want to know about Prime or KLLM? All right, so that's a very good question. Now, when you're talking about driving company, if you want to know about Prime, my advice for Prime is to look at Trucker Brown and LoShawn. Trucker Brown and LoShawn, they actually physically worked at Prime, and they're going to know about that information when it comes to working for Prime. When it comes to KLLM, who right now who's a YouTube trucker that is in KLLM. So what I want you to do, Swift driver, is go into YTTA, YouTube Trucking Association on YouTube. YTTA, go on Facebook and search for YTTA, YouTube Trucker Association, YouTube, yeah. And then ask who is in KLLM, because I can teach you how to build a trucking fleet and build an actual tangible business. I can't tell you which training program is best. I've never driven a truck a day in my life. But I get paid from it, and I write checks. I told somebody today, it don't matter if I drive trucks, I write checks. My trucks, they gonna run and they gonna pull, and that direct deposit gonna coming directly from the shipper. That's what it really matters. So I said all of that to say this. I teach on how you're able to go from driving company to drive for yourself, whether you want to lease on or have your own authority. Like I talked about when I was talking about the video testimonials, I was talking to two clients that are truckers today. One of them drives local and one of them drives OTR. OTR stands for over the road. And both of their video tested. So the gentleman who drives local got a pre-approval from one of my lenders for $500,000, ladies and gentlemen. I called him about something completely different. I called him because he got approved for a $40,000 equipment lease. And this is when we're talking about a black-owned business too. When you say you woke, this is the impact that you need to have. These are black-owned businesses that got these resources. So when people lie to you and tell you that money's not out there, that's not true. Clean up your credit. Stop doing drugs. Educate yourself. Position yourself so you can have all of this stuff. White supremacy has no hold on you when you are a true king and you are able to control your own financial destiny by owning your own business. I'm gonna have a complete separate video about that. I finally found the answer to white supremacy. My client got a pre-approval today from one of my lenders for $500,000. We need 100,000 of people just like him. That's how you're able to overcome white supremacy. Separate video talking about that. But nevertheless, I said all of that to say this. So that's what I teach. So go into YouTube, go into YTTA. Look, I'm giving solutions. Go into YTTA, YouTube Trucking Association, and ask anybody that has pulled or worked at for KLLM. As far as wanting to know about Prime, I think Loshan has 365 videos about talking about working for Prime. Trucker Brown probably got 275 talking about working for Prime and also working for CR England. And if you're watching this right now and you was like, Dean, I hear what you're saying, man, I'm a felon, or man, I hear what you're saying, like I'm trying to get myself together, I'm tired of being in this trap, like you might be in Detroit right now, and the only thing you got good about yourself is that you got a good head on your shoulders. Go and get your license, clean up your piss, and I need for you to follow Party Hard Trucker. He'll show you where you need to go and how you can go have a felony background and be like one of my clients today who got pre-approved for $20,000, $30,000 for their own business. So that's that, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I gotta go. This thing is just dragging all the way out. All right, I appreciate you guys for watching. Hit that like button, hit that share button. All you haters, thank you so much for participating in the conversation. Every visceral comment you make, every dislike that you do, spreads the word, help other people become woke and become successful. Thank you so much for all of the positivity, and thank you so much for the support, whether it be good or bad. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listen, every closed eye ain't sleep, and every sleep eye ain't closed. Stay woke. Go get them. Only person stopping you from being successful is you.